The new Russia-Venezuela axis, a full military and economic deep dive. The Shockwave. Welcome back to the channel. In early 2026, the world watched in stunned silence as U.S. forces captured Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. In the lightning raid, it was a moment that many believe would permanently shatter the geopolitical landscape of Latin America. But as the dust settles, one alliance remains remarkably resilient, standing as a defiant middle finger to Western intervention. The axis between Moscow and Caracas. Today, we are conducting a full deep dive into the Russia-Venezuela partnership. This isn't a story about two nations sharing a common enemy. It is a complex web of multi-billion-dollar arms deal, energy swaps that fuel Russia's war machine in Ukraine, and strategic military posturing designed to challenge U.S. dominance in the Western Hemisphere. From the arrival of the nuclear-capable bombers in the Caribbean to the dark fleets of oil tankers evading global sanctions, we're breaking down why this alliance matters, now more than ever. Before we go forward, I would like to mention that there's a few things that people don't understand. The Russian Shadow Fleet is basically fleets that are not insured by the Lords of London, basically. So if they're not the one insuring you, then you're not considered legal. That's what that means. Now that we cleared that up, let's go into the historical context, roots of the alliance. To understand where we are in 2026, we have to look back at how this foundation was poured. The seeds were planted during the era of Hugo Chavez between 1999 and 2013. Chavez looked to Russia as the ultimate counterweight to the United States. By 2019, Russia had become Venezuela's primary arms supplier, delivering over $11 billion worth of military hardware, including S-300 air defense systems, Sukhoi fighter jets, and even establishment of Kalashnikov factories on Venezuelan soil. When they imposed sanctions on Russia following the 2014 annexation of Crimea and later on Maduro's government, the two nations found themselves in the same lifeboat. Russia stepped in with massive debt relief, restructuring over $6 billion in loans, and consistently used its veto power at the UN Security Council to shield Caracas from international pressure. This culminated in the 2019 Putin-Maduro summit in Moscow, where they officially declared a strategic partnership against what they term imperialist aggression. It was an economic pivot that changed everything. Oil for debt swaps. Venezuela's crude began flowing to Russia's Rosneft, helping Moscow bypass Western isolation while keeping Maduro's regime on life support. The military cooperation, boots on the ground. The military dimension of this relationship is what truly keeps Washington policymakers awake at night. This isn't about selling rifles, it's about strategic presence. In 2018, the world saw the Venezuela 2018 drills, where Russian Tu-160 White Swan bombers aircraft capable of carrying nuclear weapons landed just outside of Caracas. It was a loud, clear message. Russia can project power into the U.S. backyard whenever it chooses. As we moved into 2025 and as the conflict in Ukraine escalated, Russia doubled down. They deployed military advisors to upgrade Venezuelan S-400 missile sites and provided specialized training in cyber defense. Following the capture of Maduro in 2026 of January, Moscow's rhetoric turned fierce. The Kremlin condemned the U.S. as neo-colonial. However, there is a fascinating nuance here. While Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov reaffirmed unwavering support to interim President Delcy Rodriguez, Russia's actual military response remains somewhat muted. Why? Because Russia is overextended. Experts note that while Venezuela remains a vital backdoor to the Americas, Moscow's primary focus remains the Ukrainian front, forcing them to play a more restrained transactional game in the Caribbean. Economic trade deals, oil, arms, and evasion. The lifeblood of this axis is oil. On Victory Day in 2025, Putin and Maduro signed a landmark 10-year strategic treaty. This wasn't just a piece of paper. It granted Russia unprecedented access to the world's largest proven oil reserves. Joint ventures between PDVSA and Rosneft were producing over 200,000 barrels a day, providing a critical revenue stream for both sanctioned nations. This is where the shadow fleet comes in. Russia's dark ships, tankers with obscured ownership and disabled transponders, have been instrumental in transporting Venezuelan oil to markets in China and India. This shadow trade generates upwards of to $10 billion annually, money that directly funds Moscow's military operations and keeps the Venezuelan economy from total collapse. But this system is under immense strain. In early 2026, the U.S. began seizing Russian flag vessels in retaliation for Russian interference. With the current U.S. administration demanding that Russia be kicked out of the hemisphere, the economic cost of this alliance is skyrocketing. Venezuela's infrastructure is decaying, and production has been halved, leaving the alliance in precarious all-or-nothing state. The political implications, the regional bloc. Politically, the Russia-Venezuelan axis act as the anchor for an anti-U.S. bloc that includes Cuba and Nicaragua. During his 2025 Kremlin address, Putin referred to Venezuela as a brother in arms. This isn't just rhetoric. It has real-world consequences for regional stability. This alliance bolsters regimes that contribute to migration surges and security crises at the U.S. southern border. However, we are seeing a shift in the power dynamic. Interim President Delcy Rodriguez has vowed that no foreign agents will govern Venezuela. Yet, she continues to invite Russian collaboration. This suggests that while Venezuela wants to remain independent, it is functionally dependent on Russian tech and intelligence to survive. The risk for the world is the potential for hybrid operations. If Russia feels backed into a corner in Eastern Europe, they may use their Venezuelan foothold to launch cyber attacks or disrupt maritime trade in the Caribbean. It is a high-stakes game of geopolitical leverage, where Venezuela is the ultimate bargaining chip. Closing, what it means for the world. As we look towards the remainder of 2026, the Russia-Venezuela axis faces its greatest test. The U.S. raid and capture of Maduro exposed deep cracks in the regime's security. But the shared anti-Western ideology between Moscow and Caracas is a powerful glue. This alliance may no longer be the juggernaut it was a decade ago, but it remains a volatile and dangerous element of modern global politics. For Latin America, this means continued instability and the threat of being caught in a proxy war. For the United States, it represents a persistent challenge in its own backyard that cannot be ignored. The question remains, is this alliance a genuine long-term threat to global order, or is it a fading relic of the Cold War? I want to hear from you. Does Russia have the resources to keep supporting Venezuela while fighting in Ukraine? Or is it the beginning of the war, of the end for their influence in the Americas? Let me know your thoughts, the comments below. If you found this deep dive helpful, make sure to subscribe for more geopolitical analysis. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. While we're at it, I wanted to also add that when Putin was asked if that the situation, what happened in Venezuela concerning the capture of Maduro, Putin said flat out that what can he do if your own countrymen won't fight for you? He basically stated that they gave Maduro up. So in a situation like that, as an outsider, even with a strategic partnership, what can you really do? And that makes a lot of sense. But that's another story for another day. Right now, like I said, please like, subscribe, and comment. The subscription would definitely help us get to a different point on this journey. At least we can start going live, invite guests, and have more in-depth conversations. So once again, thank you for watching, and see you next time.
Invested some money there too. That's true. Compared to what China and we have invested, well, we've invested much less. And, of course, Venezuela has been a friendly country for us until now. And losing it is very bad for us. And at the same time, well, it's good that what happened happened. Trump has once again demonstrated that he is a terrorist. So, he took hostages and is demanding that the state hand over the wealth they have. So, that's the bottom line. Trump is not only an enemy of Russia, he is an enemy of humanity. And you will see even further how, with his help, escalation will occur around the world. Trump, the great peacemaker, will do his job, and we will witness it. He is one of the most vicious cheats who has ever walked this earth. And one could very well say that he is precisely that same Antichrist Dajjal with his slogans, when he shouts that no one can stop him. He will do what he deems necessary. Wait. Aren't these precisely the attributes of that army of the Antichrist Dajjal, which is supposed to break all rules and norms, say one thing, do another? So, what slogans are being heard now? Anyone who doesn't do what Trump says, or what I say, we will punish them all. It's like he's taken on the role of God. All true believers must understand that Trump is just a man. Yes, he will rule for a while in this manner. Well, believe me, what he did will come back to haunt him and America in a big way. They shot themselves in the foot, it seems. Now all countries understand that there is no international law, no UN, no nothing. There is only the law of force. And everyone will begin to reconsider their relationships both within NATO and with America in one format or another. Believe me, all of humanity has entered a new era from this moment on. And we, too, of course, must understand that we have entered a new era of reaching agreement, of talking with people who don't even have the honor of having a say, of negotiating with them, of talking with them. People who talk about friendship and then rush to insult our country, our commander-in-chief. These are not people we should take into account at all. We must take a firm line, and we must strive for victory. All of Europe is preparing to fight Russia. We must open our eyes, wake up, and start preparing for this war too. And, of course, I can say one thing with certainty. Russia, no matter what they do, will definitely win. They have no power that could force Russia to lose, because God loves Russia. And I'll say one more thing. This is what we must give credit to Supreme Commander-in-Chief Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin. He is a man who keeps his word. This is what we must give him credit for. And what about Trump? He gave his word today, took it back tomorrow. The day after tomorrow he swore he loved us, and the next day he says we are enemies. Who the hell is he? This is precisely one of the antichrists, if not the Dodgel himself. So that's how it is. Don't worry about anything. Do what you must do. Don't tire of our struggle, because you can't tire of fighting the army of the Antichrist until we win. And we will definitely win. And don't worry about anything. Pray. Pray for our country, for the commander-in-chief, for us, for everyone. Thank you all for your support. Akhmet is strong, Russia is powerful, God is one. Allahu Akbar.